was born on Christmas Day, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible said, Mary's born child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day.
Dear parents, please keep clapping. It will encourage our little ones.
A king was born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Mary's born child, Jesus Christ,